Hi everybody, what's going on? Welcome to Sit Down. I'm DJ Sixsmith, hanging out with Michael Ealy. Brand new movie, The Intruder, coming to theaters. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me.
You got it. So we were just talking a little NBA playoffs before. I mean, NBA is in a great spot right now. You're a basketball fan. You're with the TNT guys. So, I mean, what have you enjoyed most about the NBA playoffs so far?
It feels like, you know, team basketball has become more of a not just one or two teams, like the elite teams. It seems like every team is now understanding this, and you know, it's amazing. You saw that in Portland last night.
Dame's shot, incredible.
The confidence with which he shot that.
37 feet, come on.
I was like, why are you waiting so long to take a shot? And he just, it's like he knew he was going to make it with like 1 second left.
Insane.
And I mean, you know, there's just such a dagger, but it's amazing to me how, like, when LeBron left, the East became what it did.
Oh yeah, you got the Bucks, the Raptors,
you don't know
Sixers,
coming out of
Celtics.
the
Yeah,
East now.
it's
Like,
wide open.
You don't know who's coming out of the East. And the West, you always feel it's going to be Golden State, Houston, somebody like that. But the East is up in the air, and so to a certain extent, basketball has become exciting again.
Yeah, and not having LeBron is a weird thing, but also a good thing for the league.
It's actually, yeah, it's worked out for the East.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
I mean, it's worked out for the East. Not my Wizards, but it's worked out.
Yeah, Wizards, yeah. John Wall, Brad Beal, we'll leave that one off there.
Boston, Toronto, Milwaukee, the Sixers.
Thought it was going to be Washington a couple years ago.
Yeah, they were on their way. Yeah.
Didn't quite happen. So your basketball career didn't quite take off in the same way either. You played hoops as a younger guy.
I did.
But went the acting route instead. So how did you have sports and acting in the picture at the same time?
Well, basketball was never a realistic goal for me. I was like seventh man.
I gotcha.
Right?
Key role player off the bench.
I was a key role player off the bench. I was a defensive specialist. The only thing I had really going for me in high school is I could dunk. You know, for a two guard, that was pretty impressive.
That definitely is impressive.
In high school.
Yeah.
Under 6 feet, being able to dunk was huge. But that was about it, yeah. That was about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt. So when it comes to the arts, like who are some of your early inspirations? Who you watch, people you like, stuff like that?
Oh, I was a big, I mean, I was just talking about this. Eddie Murphy in his early films.
Yeah.
Beverly Hills Cop, Trading Places, 48 Hours, Golden Child, you know what I mean?
And his stand-up, too, at that time was top-notch.
I mean, well, I grew up on his stand-up, so that's a whole different thing. But, like, his movies, he kind of epitomized a movie star, and at the same time, he kind of was like a, wow, like he could act, right? Like, he could act before I even knew what acting was. And, you know, Eddie Murphy, Denzel Washington, Tom Hanks, Sean Penn, these are the guys I kind of grew up watching and being impressed with the most.
I got you.
Sure.
So when you were at college at Maryland, what are some good memories you have, and how were you starting to make this path as you were going along?
When I was at college at Maryland, I was a student, and I was lost a little bit the first couple
Trying to find
years.
yourself a little bit?
Yeah, because I went from wanting to be an architect to figuring out that I wanted to act to, okay, I want to act, but I need to get a degree. What's that going to be?
So what was your major?
My major was English.
Okay.
With a focus in African American literature. And I ultimately, the way I came to that decision was once I decided to act, I was like, okay, well, what am I good at? Because architecture requires way too much math and science, so I'm not going to do that. But I need to get a degree. And so I remember like this writing competition that I did, the statewide writing competition that I did in high school. And I took 3rd place in a statewide writing competition. So I said, okay, well, if that works, you know, let me pursue English.
Right.
And so I did, and ultimately I thrived. All of a sudden I started making honor roll.
Wow.
Yeah, and I found a love for reading and writing and all of that, you know, and it was fantastic. I'm glad I got my degree in English. It actually helped me once I got to acting school, because my acting instructor was able to tell me, he's like, look, you've got the mind for this. You're going to be able to break down scripts faster than anybody else, because he was an English major. So, so it worked out well.
So what'd you learn in acting school once you started putting it together?
Acting, technically, is nothing like what you see. So what you see is the final product, and it goes, it's a technical process to get to what is natural.
Right.
So when you see someone like Anthony Hopkins,
Okay.
just know that he's done all this work to make it look effortless, but he's done the work. And that's the first thing I learned, because when you go to acting class, it's like you're not even dealing with words, you're dealing with movement and sound and all these other things. And so it ended up being a really good experience for me. I'm glad I did it. I didn't think I needed to.
Yeah, but now you realize you definitely did.
Oh man,
right?
I was so arrogant and thinking that, you know, I'm natural, man. I should just go to
I'm ready to
LA.
roll right now.
I should just go to LA and become a movie star.
Well, everybody thinks like that.
Everybody
at that
thinks
age,
like that, right? And
Yeah.
then it's like, you know, it's like I did this play in college. I did an acting class in college, and I did a play called Frankie and Johnny and Claire de Lune. And that was my first kind of theater experience outside of like church plays growing up. And so I did that, and I was like, oh.
This is what's up, yeah.
I want to go to New York.
Yeah.
I want to go to New York. I want to do theater. And, you know, theater to me, the theater that I did in this city in the beginning, first 5 years of my career, man, that was probably better than the school that I went to. Like,
yeah, that's a real rep,
right,
so you need
you know
it.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's really paying your dues, because every night you get up there and you perform in front of a different audience and you get a different response every night. And it can only help you, you know, in terms of once you get into the film and television, in terms of, you know, massive amounts of takes and different energy, different day.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like with your career now leading into The Intruder, like you've been able to combine all these different things you've done into one really interesting movie is what it looks like. So how were you able to kind of take everything, and what was it like working on this thing?
Well, you know, to go back to sports, they say you get better at a sport by playing people that are better than you.
Yeah.
When I read the script, I had the luxury of knowing Megan was attached and Dennis was attached. And when I found out Dennis was attached and I read the script, I thought, oh, I get to go at Dennis Quaid.
Mano y mano.
Dennis Quaid.
Yeah.
We get to, okay.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was kind of a no-brainer. It was like, yeah, I'm in. Because I knew I'd get better.
Right.
You know, I knew I'd get better. I knew I'd be challenged, and I was hoping I could learn something from him, and I did. But The Intruder itself, you know, it was a great experience. As I've said before, look, when you do an independent film, that's how you know people want to be there. You know.
Yeah, it's for the love of it.
The
yeah.
normal perks that you're accustomed to having, they aren't there. But, you know, everybody there wanted to be there, and it felt like it. Even Dennis, you know. I mean, you think someone like Dennis, why are you coming to do this small little independent film? And then you see his performance, and you see why Dennis still loves acting, and he got an opportunity to do something he has never had the opportunity to do in 40 years of acting. You know, play this villain role and kill it.
Yeah.
He kills it. He kills it.
I'm excited to check it out. And it must have been cool for you to work with Megan again, too, after Think Like a Man movies.
Ironically, we never worked together.
Really?
We were in the same film.
But you guys
never had any scenes
That's
together.
true, yeah, I guess now I'm thinking about
We
it.
never had any, we didn't realize that until we called each other. You know, I called her after I decided to take it, and I was like, so Megs, let's talk about this, because, you know, and we started talking, and we realized we'd never worked together.
Wow.
But we were excited because we had a lot of work to do on this movie, and we collaborated closely in making sure that Annie and Scott were this this couple that's not kind of a romanticized Hollywood couple. They're newlyweds, and everything is romantic, but at the same time, they have a past, and you know they have to kind of come to terms with that.
That's interesting. And I think it's interesting for you because people know you from those movies or some of your other work. Like, I remember seeing you in The Following and going into that dark role. Dude, I love that show.
My man.
Theo was an awesome character.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
I wish that show had gone on a little longer, honestly.
Man, me too.
So,
Me too, yeah.
But like thinking about that experience, I'm sure you're able to take little bits and pieces and put it into this movie, you know?
Yeah, well, you know, here's the thing. I remember I had this reputation for after Think Like a Man,
Yeah.
About Last Night, I had this reputation for being the romantic comedy guy.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, well, how do I change that? And I was able to executive produce a film called The Perfect Guy, and that was the first time I kind of went to the dark side, so to speak. And interestingly enough, I did that, and then I got the offer to do The Following.
Interesting, okay.
And when I started talking to the creators of The Following, I realized that I get to go to a different place with this one. Like, so Carter is a sociopath. Theo is a serial killer.
There's a difference.
There's a difference.
Yeah, and you're going after it with Kevin Bacon, too.
Right. Once again,
Yep.
going up against somebody who's got more experience than you can't turn that down.
Definitely.
So The Following was epic. That was epic. And I love it when people talk about that show. Like, when people come up to me and say they love that show, I'm like, we're kindred.
Absolutely. It was a great show. It really was.
I love that.
Because how many seasons did it go? Was it just
went three?
Because you were,
three. I came in the third, and as James was leaving, and you know, I wanted no parts of his character. I wanted to make Theo, like, I remember talking to the writers and being like, guys, this feels like James.
Right.
Let's
we can't
go in
do
a
that.
different direction.
Yeah.
Let's go in a different direction, because this is Theo. We got to establish
this whole
Theo.
new thing.
Absolutely.
That show was wild.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
no
you.
doubt.
But that, you know, to answer your question in terms of The Intruder, obviously, Perfect Guy, it was, I was the sociopath when I played Carter. So when I got the opportunity to play opposite the sociopath, it was like, okay, well, I haven't done this. Right. I haven't been on that, you know, reaction side. Because ultimately in these movies, a good villain will drive the story.
Definitely. And you need it in this one for sure.
Oh, he's amazing.
That's awesome.
Have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen it.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I can't
No,
wait.
sometimes I see it before, but this one I didn't see. I want to check this one out.
I can't wait till you see Dennis in this movie. Man.
I'm hyped.
Yeah.
How about, take me back a little bit, how about Barbershop? What do you still think about when you hear that?
Barbershop will and always be a turning point in my life, not my career. My life.
Well, explain that.
It changed my life. Well, Barbershop came out September 11th, 2002.
Okay.
Maybe 13th, something like that. September 11th, I think, 2002. And no, it wasn't September 11th.
So September of that year?
Yeah, it was September.
But a year after 9/11. Yeah.
And it came out, and my life changed after that weekend. So I think, you know, before that, I was able to go places.
Just be a normal dude.
And nobody knew who I was, and everything was what it was. After that weekend, ironically, I flew down to Miami to start shooting Too Fast, Too Furious.
Oh, wow.
So Miami was my first exposure.
Oh my gosh.
To
South Beach, of your new life.
I've been to South Beach before.
Right, but your new life in South Beach.
But I hadn't been to South Beach like this.
Wow.
Yeah, it was instantly, it was like, I remember it was bananas. I was down there and I was shooting Too Fast, Too Furious, and I'm hanging out with Martin Lawrence, because he was shooting Bad Boys 2, and Michael Bay, and I'm in like bed, some club with them, and it's just like everybody wants to take your picture, and this is before camera phones, so everybody had like the
little Kodak
the
ones?
Kodak
Oh
one,
my
the
gosh.
disposable
Yeah,
ones,
you'd run out of pictures.
Everybody had the disposable ones, so you're like, why do you have that in your purse? Why do you have these cameras?
Seriously,
So people were just like my whole world changed after that movie, and career-wise, yes. I mean, it definitely was my first major role. And shout out to Ice Cube, because he vouched for me on that one. I will always, to this day, I always will have love for Cube. Because he could have said, nah, I don't want him in the movie. And that would have, I don't know where I'd be right now.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell everybody when they can check out the movie?
So you guys got to come see The Intruder. It opens May 3rd, theaters everywhere. It's an intense ride. It's one of the scariest thrillers of the year for sure.
All right.
For sure.
There you have it. Mike Ealy. Mike, thanks so much.
Appreciate it, man.
Absolute pleasure.
Thank you, man.
All right, we'll see you next time here on The Sit Down.